one of the most transformative and thought-provoking themes of our time within the justice sector. And around the world, artificial intelligence is redefining how justice is delivered, from common chatbots that give free legal advice to machine learning systems, defining the potentials of robotic judge as well, and that helps court predict case outcomes and manage mountains of paperwork as well. But with this revolution, it raises some big questions as well, like what should be the limits of artificial intelligence in the justice sector, or can the justice sector remain silent to the change in the field of artificial intelligence? And we have seen some predictions in sentencing, whether like can an algorithm truly understand like fairness, whether it can further perpetuate biasness, and who is accountable if artificial intelligence makes mistakes, and based upon the data it's fed up. So who is accountable, whether it's the developer, or what sort of transparency mechanism? So these are the key questions that comes before, and the pertinent question that comes within is the question of digital divide. From how digital divide we need to go to the digital inclusion. So these are the key questions. And my name is Amit Upreti, and I'll be your moderator for this session. And just to introduce, first of all, myself, I guess I have keen interest in justice innovation and artificial intelligence and technology. And currently, I'm the Joint Secretary at the Judicial Service, currently at the Registrar of High Court Patel branch, and I have been involved in digital transformation initiatives within the Judicial Service. And I'm thrilled to guide today's discussion as we explore how technology can strengthen and sometimes challenge the very foundations of justice as well. So together we'll explore how technology can make justice faster, fairer, inclusive, and more human as well. And we have today a panel of, to introduce the speakers, we have an extraordinary line of experts who bring diverse perspectives, from law, developer, entrepreneur, innovator, from to UN representative, and to academia, who can have a critique, provide a critique of what are the challenges and risks of artificial intelligence and what are the potentials within it, and as well from the current Supreme Court Justice of Nepal, who can guide and who has the experience of leadership in ICT within the Supreme Court. So we have four experts. First of all, our speaker is would be Mr. Pranjal Timsina, is the co-founder of Jurimatics Private Limited, and who has developed and co-founded, I guess, Kanun Parsala and other sort of web portals which has used artificial intelligence and some AI-focused software solutions. And our second speaker is, I'm giving just a short introduction as well only, Professor Dr. Durga Bini A. Patel, and she's is the Dean of Kirit P. Mehta School of Law, and was a scholar of international reputation with academic engagement with 2 books and around 38 articles, and who her key interest is on digital freedom and industrial relations, if you follow her. And our third speaker is Jaco, Toit, who is the UNESCO representative of Nepal, and he has, with his academic background with information science, information for development and communication, and who has also led on projects related as program specialist in knowledge society development, and who has also field experience in the countries of such of as of Nepal and other Asian Pacific countries as well. And the final, we have Honorable Dr. Nahakul Subedi. He's the Supreme Court Justice, and who has climbed to height of Supreme Court of Justice, leading change within the judiciary, right from the section officer 30 years back to the senior most position as Chief Registrar in Judicial Administration. So we have a comprehensive list of experts who can provide their inputs in this. And we have our session will be, first of all, we'll have 2 sub presentations relating to enhance the debate. We shall have 2 presentations. The first presentation will be done from Mr. Pranjal Timsina, who will highlight the scope of artificial intelligence within the justice sector, and also further the potential regarding, and the other will be of to provide a critique of the artificial intelligence. It will be provided by Professor Dr. Durgabani Patel. She will highlight the issues with respect to use of AI in administration of justice and functioning of judicial system, and as well facing some of the issues like that of transparency, algorithm biasness, digital divide. So she will provide a critique from the academic perspective on the challenges of artificial intelligence, and thereafter we'll have a debate session. And now I would want to hand over this. I will welcome all of you, and I have also seen Honorable Justice is also with here. We said we would like to welcome you, all of you, and now and after that we'll based upon the timings we'll have a question and answer session. Now I would request Pranjal Timsina to provide his so time is 5 to 7 minutes. So we expect that you will be ending this session within 5 minutes. Over to you, Pranjal.
Thank you very much, Amitji, esteemed panelists and honored guests. Before we discuss the promise of artificial intelligence, I want you guys to picture something very real. Picture the corridors of a district court, not in a distant country, but right here in Nepal. Picture the stacks of paper and picture the face of a citizen. For instance, let's call her Sabina. She's a small business owner from a remote area with a simple contract dispute. To her, the justice system can feel like a fortress, complex, expensive, and intimidating. This feeling, this gap between our citizens and our courts is a fundamental problem we are here to solve today. Across the world, countries are reimagining what justice can look like with AI. Let's start with an example from our dear neighbor, India. The e-Courts Phase 3 project, which was launched in 2023, is a big step forward. It's a 4-year plan worth over 7,000 crores. And the goal is simple, to bring the justice system into a fully digital age. It focuses on digitizing court records, creating paperless and virtual courts, expanding online dispute resolution, and modernizing the systems that serve millions of people every day. At the same time, the Supreme Court of India is also leading by example. Under Chief Justice D.Y. Chandrachud, the court piloted an AI-based live transcriptioning system during a constitutional bench hearing in 2023. For the first time, real-time transcripts were made available to judges, lawyers, and the public. It's a small change, but a powerful one. It shows how AI can make justice more transparent, inclusive, and accessible, not in the future, but right now. Our other neighbor, China, offers another excellent example. The intelligent justice system is built on more than 320 million pieces of legal information. The country's internet courts, like the one in Hangzhou, have already resolved thousands of e-commerce disputes, often in just 40 days. Now, for us people from the tech community, 40 days might sound like a lot, but in terms of judicial processes, that's really, really quick. These examples prove one thing. AI is already reshaping justice systems around the world. But the true promise of technology is not about making big systems faster. It's about bringing that power down to the human level. It's about helping people like Sabina. Such focused work is being done here in Nepal as well. Take, for example, our work at Jurymatics. We did not set out to build a robot judge. We asked this very, very simple question. How can we empower the citizen? And our answer, Kanun Portal, is a platform developed specifically for our context in Nepal. For someone like Sabina, it uses AI not to make decisions, but to provide clarity. It translates dense legal documents into simple, understandable Nepali. It helps her organize her evidence into a clear timeline. It gives her a roadmap of the court process and demystifies the fortress, which is perceived as such by her. It does not offer legal advice, but rather delivers understanding, confidence, and clarity. And this promise of empowerment extends to legal professionals as well. A recent study in the United States gave generative AI tools to under-resourced legal aid lawyers, and the result, 90% of them reported an increase in their productivity. They use it to summarize documents, draft initial letters, and do the very work that frees them up to better serve their clients. This shows that AI can be a force multiplier for good. But then this promise carries with it a profound responsibility as well. The perils of algorithmic bias and the black box problem are not theoretical. They are critical guardrails that we must build. And as developers, we must be the first to insist on ethical boundaries. We must draw what Justice Suryakant of India so wisely called a Lakshman Rekha, a sacred line that AI must not be allowed to cross at all. The final judgment, the empathy, and the nuanced understanding of a human life that must always remain with a human judge. Our work at Juromatics and other companies and other private sector people in the private sector as well should be designed to serve the judiciary, never to supplant it. So the promise of AI and justice is not a cold automated future. It is a promise of augmentation. It is about automating the mundane so our brilliant legal minds can focus on the momentous. It is about giving citizens like Sabina the tools they need to confidently take the first step toward justice. The ultimate promise of this technology is to build a justice system that is not only more efficient, but more accessible and fundamentally more human. Thank you very much. That's all from me for now. And I'd like to hand over to Professor Durgamini Patel. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Pranjal. I heard you very carefully and really liked your presentation, what you have said. Now, since I'm from India, of course, I do know this Nepal system also because I've been visiting few schools in Nepal in past. And being neighbors, I do understand. So if you take the example of India, India started with this initiative of e-governance. Which a long back, so slowly land records, judicial records, and all that started being coming as a step by step over a period of more than 10 to 15 years. This e-governance concept has been followed, and that has led to introduction of digitalization of the courts also. Now you can get your dates on the court, and a lot of digital revolution has taken place as far as judicial system is there. So quickly in 22 in November 22, when as such we could feel the AI coming into the Indian system, like it was after the COVID, somewhere in between, post Diwali, October, November, we started hearing about AI. And generative AI, chat GPT, and so on and so forth. And quickly, at least the youngsters, because I am in a school where I am with students from the age of 17 to 25. So I've seen the Gen Zs, they literally faster than us, they adopted utilizing chat GPT. You ask anything, they will simply ask the chat GPT, and that use has increased massively. Now, I'm not a technology person, but there would be somebody who is in technology. What I would like to say, because they have been given certain questions and they have been given certain points, because if I want to say, I can conduct a whole 1 hour lecture, but I don't want to do that. So quickly speaking, I would start with backwards. I would go to the last issue which we are trying to say, the digital divide. India still is a country, there is what we say is Bharat and India. So there is a lot of poor masses. There is people who are where access to drinking water, shelter, so many things is not there. So expecting them to use digital technology for meeting out their requirements, day-to-day requirements, and even for that matter, to in matters like access to justice, it is little bit, I feel, is still a faraway dream. Though digitalization has occurred very fast. Like I remember somebody who visited India said that if you want to go on the roadside and buy bananas from a thela person, he will also have a QR code. But that is just not sufficient. Be able to use and to utilize that for having access to justice. Some amount of digital literacy is required, and more than that, people to use mobiles, people to have electricity, because there was one kind of an irony which was said about some of the villages in some of the rural area where electricity is not there. So there is a person who takes mobile of everybody every morning, goes to the close by village, gets their mobile charge and comes back. So unless you have electricity facility, unless you have internet facility, right now I am in a very affluent place. I'm in Juhu of of Mumbai where I'm using 5G. That does not happen in every part of India. There are places where network is not there. So digital device is massive even in India. Of course, it's a very huge country. So I do understand the technical difficulties which are there. So first is access to digitalization, which is very important. Now coming to how can we use this for justice delivery system. Now, I being a professor of law, what I would try to say is that e-courts can be for peripheral issues like motor vehicle tax, so on and so forth, where human sentiments, compassion, feelings, like in matters of criminal law, in matters of family law, when parties are going in for divorce, in such cases, you cannot eliminate human element, because here you have to understand the facts and situation of each case, understand emotions, feelings of people, decide between in criminal law and so therefore in areas like criminal law, in family law disputes, I can say that AI can only be a facilitator to retrieve information, to retrieve case law, to retrieve information. But you cannot have program an AI that if a party come before you for in matters of divorce with regard to cruelty, you can't just expect AI to have that compassion. Similarly, in criminal law, you need to have mitigating and extenuating circumstances. X is conducting has done a murder. Y has also done a murder, but Y has done murder under certain circumstances which are mitigating circumstances. So his blameworthiness or his mens rea is blameworthiness is not as high as that of the other one, AI, who has done a cold-blooded murder with a pre-planned murder. So where you have to determine the blameworthiness or the degree of mens rea in a particular case, AI cannot, because you cannot substitute human mind. And I'm definitely sure that in future, AI is going to be only a facilitator, and that too, it cannot completely substitute some of the sectors, even in tech sectors like tax or in sectors of motor vehicle, where initially you can use that e-courts can come, but when there is a question of law which is involved, where you have to determine certain principles, understand the gravity, understand the case to case nature of the thing, you cannot do so. And the other point which was said given over here is regarding algorithm bias. Now, algorithm bias is very, very obvious in any digital devices which you are using. If I start looking for Nepal and the timings of Nepal, what is the good food of Nepal, I know 1 or 2 days I will get information on Nepal, because it studies what is been fed or what kind of what kind of words have been given, and around that it will start giving me information. All my social media will be talking about Nepal for next 2 days, because I have looked for Nepal. Now I would just like technology people to to look into this, the simple AI and generative AIs. The simple AI, which is a software which is just trying to collect information, and generative AI, which is machine learning, has a greater tendency to learn wrong things, because it will depend upon what is been fed by earlier. In law, we consider precedent, that is doctrine of precedent. We all are common law countries. So judges, we do refer to the old judgments, but if the judgment has to be read in the new context and the context is different, the lawyers do argue in the court of law that the precedent over here is not so relevant, because the facts is different, circumstance is different, social condition is different, and technology is one thing which changes human life. So you cannot completely blindly depend on technology. Technology is only a facilitator, and therefore we have to be very discreet. We have to be very choosy. We have to be very careful in trying to completely substitute human beings for that of in the delivery of in the justice delivery system. Now, transparency and black box, which was definitely said to it, that AI driven informations, you don't know who has fed, how does it come, and generally over here, those who have control on the internet system, and everybody knows it's US. So what is been fed by them, and that's why China does not use quite a few of social platforms. So the dominance of the person of that legal system which has control over that will definitely be reflected. I will give an example. Many of the critics, especially the Chinese or the Eastern critics, say that when you try to Google something about a particular nation, if you want to Google something about North Korea, what all information you will get is basically an information which is been fed by or which has been created by the US, and therefore it will have that kind of bias which it will try to say. So US also may have certain issues, but if that is not been there, so that will not. So the bias of the country which has control is definitely reflected. As far as accountability is concerned, you cannot put the accountability on the developer because he has just developed. I think the major accountability in case of use of AI and something going wrong, or injustice being delivered, or injustice being perpetuated. In that case, it is the judicial officer, because they have to be very cautious how much, to what extent to rely on the data which is produced, either AI or generative AI which has been produced. They have to apply human mind. They cannot be mechanical. Developer will not, because developer is simply developing. He is not applying that software to given situation. Judges do to given situation. So caution must be there. And in case, and the government agency also has certain liability, because if the government feels that certain type of AI is going to cause detrimental impact or a negative impact, then the government also cannot be simply a spectator, especially in democratic nations. I would say the liability, I would not want Indian situation to be compared to that of China, because India is a democratic country. On the virtual spaces, you have freedoms and so on. So a larger amount of freedoms that may be there. So so when it comes to data privacy, we would look more towards the West rather than towards Chinese system. The reason being, unless there is a proper reason, we cannot deprive somebody to access to information, because that is one of the right of a netizen. However, it is also the duty of the government, of the service provider. If you read the IT Act, and those who are using the data, that caution has been taken. So you can see India has also passed the DPDP Act on the lines with Europe, where we are trying to say that their privacy needs to be protected, and there has to be those who are using the data, who are processing the data, need to take due caution for doing for protecting the device. So, like any technology, ethics is most important, and this is what I would like to say about data privacy, which is very, very important. And I would say that AI is a facilitator. Even we would but it cannot be ultimate. Human mind has to be applied, and the judicious mind, fair, just, and reasonability, which is a very important component of any delivery system in democracy. That compassion does not come with AI. So that is my submission. I would say that we can use as a tool for getting information, getting data, but cannot be an ultimate thing to determine delivery of justice, because we have to understand
Thank you.
the problem of divide which is there. Thank you.
Thank you, Pranjal and Professor, for your enlightening remarks. And I was very happy to know from the developer side, from the Pranjal, that we need to have some sort of Lakshman Rekha. There is a boundary that the developer should also be conscious of. And Professor C has rightly highlighted the need for ethical based approach to artificial intelligence, and AI can only be as a facilitator. And what she has highlighted is that there should be a human judging, that we cannot replace the human-centered justice, and AI can only be limited to some certain sectors, since there are some limitations within it. Now we will go to the main session of this session, that is a moderated multi-stakeholder dialogue session. And with that, I would like to start with Jaco, who is the UNESCO representative, and thereafter I'll go to Justice Nahakul Subedi. First of all, to Mr. Jaco Toit, UNESCO representative to Nepal. My question is that, first of all, since UNESCO has been leading, it's been in the forefront for developing ethical frameworks for artificial intelligence, AI governance. So my first question is, why is ethical governance essential for administrating artificial intelligence? Why is ethics importance? What is its importance? So let's start with why. First of all, why is it important? And Professor C has also highlighted the issue of ethics. So first of all, I said begin with, let's start with why. Why is it important?
Thank you very much. And indeed, the previous speakers also highlighted the importance of the existence of ethical standards, and several principles need to apply for that. But the ethicalness of governance is essential because of legitimacy and trust. And I think those are the most important elements to take into account, so that the citizen can trust the system and that legitimate action can be taken. So before deploying AI, I think courts must conduct certain impact assessment, data audits, etc., so that that trust element can be embedded within the use of these technologies. UNESCO in its AI and rule of law training have included, I think, these elements of taking forward trust also within its MOOC. And in Nepal, there was also a training course that highlighted the importance of these elements. And I think in order to say that why it is needed, we also have these guidelines for the ethical use of AI in courts that could provide more details on the importance of its use under the conditions that the two previous speakers highlighted. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Jacob. Now, I'll go to Justice Nahakul Subedi. So, since okay, yeah, since I'm also an insider of, I'm also an employee of Supreme Court, so I've also been working with Justice Nahakul Subedi, and regarding Supreme Court, we have, since it's been like 1 or 2 years, that there have been lots of programs to which Nahakul Subedi Srimansi, he has been a prolific speaker of artificial intelligence, advocating for, and we Supreme Court has been quite open to artificial intelligence as well. So my question to Justice is that now the Supreme Court is also developing an ICT policy. regarding information and communication technology, including the regulation of use of artificial intelligence. So what are the areas that since Jaco and other issues of ethics are also there. So what are the issues that have been that has came to a light to how to regulate artificial intelligence within the justice sector, within the policy framework?
Yes, thank you, Amit ji. Very good question. I would like to I would like to highlight some of the issues before I jump to your question directly. I mean,
Sure.
first of all, what I would like to share with this forum is that what we did till today is very important. What we consider is we are jointly working on digital transformation policy. What we did is that since last 2 decades, Supreme Court of Nepal has taken various judicial reform initiatives. Yeah. Out of them, application of technology is one of the issues as a judicial reform initiatives. But what is important is that technology-based reform is proven method. That's why since last 2 decades, Supreme Court has taken steps toward technology-based reform initiative. At that initiatives, what we did is since we introduced strategic planning since for last 20 years ago, and till today we introduced fifth 5-year strategic plan, and we introduced IT master plan, and recently we are in the verge of launching IT and digital transformation policy. Now the draft is ready. What we did is that we create a kind of infrastructure. We create a kind of infrastructure, including legal infrastructure, physical infrastructure, technical infrastructure, and so on, till today. And a number of modules, number of application has been applied till today in Nepal's judicial application, basically online registration, tariff automation, cause list management, video conferencing, service of notice, and so many other modules are prepared. And since last month, everything has been destroyed and we are revived soon. But the situation is that we are in we have established a very strong foundation to move toward the application of AI or digital transformation stage. We were in the eve of digital transformation, I say. In this stage, as you asked me, what might be the key ethical consideration?
Right.
Is it Amit ji?
Yeah. So what are the preparations that have been in place, if there are any considerations like how we can govern AI? So to my knowledge, we have been using some research engines like ChatGPT, AI engines, sort of. We have already started informally. So is there any ethical guidelines?
Amit ji, what I would like to share is that before application of AI in judicial functioning, we should be very much clear about the nature and functioning of the judiciary.
Okay.
It is different than production in the factory or any management in the private corporation or like. Just before previous speaker, professor said, there is a prevalence of human wisdom in judicial functioning. There is some sort of personal knowledge, experience, feelings, emotion, and wisdom always prevalence in judicial functioning. what we should be clear that no AI can replace the human wisdom. But it doesn't mean that there is no any scope of AI in judicial functioning. What we consider is that AI is always an assistance to the judge, assistance to the judicial functioning. Is it? Even today, we applied a number of computer application. That is a kind of some sort of AI. Then we have a preparation. Basically, what we personally, I think we are doing and we can do to address the issue of delay, accessibility, and efficiency of our functioning, and cost efficiency, consistency, transparency, number of benefits we can take, we can use, we can get from the use of AI. To me, there is at least 6 major areas. We are way to preparation and some sort of application of AI or complex computer. Basically, number 1 is case management in the area of management. Already case management system application there. It deal with from case registration to internal case processing like classification, proceeding, PC automation, and number of things. And the basic application is case management. The next potential area is legal research. Legal research. Some sort of, as you told, informally we have used legal research, but we don't have any systematic research application in judicial functioning. There is a potential area to find the statutes, regulation, past precedent, case law, reference material like this. The next is the legal research. And the third is analyzing and organizing the evidence. As there is a number of evidence, different type of evidence, I think application of AI can manage. Just for example, read the forensic reports, analyze the audio video clips and footage. And recently we were in the trial on audio to text transcribe like this in analyzing and organizing. Next thing is analyzing the same issues. If the AI analyze the same issue, we can hear the same cases at once. It has been practiced in Brazil as Sigma like this, Socrates, Sigma. They have AI, computer-generated AI has classified the issues so that one issue can hear in block. The next is even judging the case, like analyzing the evidence. I can analyze the evidence, what sort of evidence, and then based on past precedent, what might be the tentative result of what might be the effect of certain type of decision, and law providing insight on key issues. AI can help providing some insight on key issues. As we studied in China, AI gives a tentative result of the case, tentative judgment. If the judges ask AI what might be the tentative judgment, then AI gives a tentative answer. And if tentative judgment asks the AI, it might be contradict with previous decision, or it might be contradict with fact like this. And the next is assistance in preparing reports, decision, and judgment. Probably our officers are unofficially applying some sort of AI in preparing draft judgment, though I'm not sure how much reliable is, and since it is not authentic and official use, but it advises some sort of structure, some sort of format, and some sort of styles, and it gives us some sort of consistency like this. And the next sixth one is execution of judgment. Is it carries a record, data update, and it can help. What I said is that
now 30 seconds, Justice.
Okay. Only the judgment task is done by the judges, and AI can help, can assist in this managerial thing, I think.
Okay, thank you, thank you. So he has justice has highlighted some of the key issues of like key ethical concerns as well that we need to be, because it's judging, it's quite different from artificial intelligence. It's so he has a similar viewpoint as of professor that it's AI should also be limited to facilitation, and it's more like how Supreme Court has been leading in forefront in for the digital transformation, and now artificial intelligence is the other area that the judiciary is trying to incorporate, that how it can address its core problems like that of efficiency, case management, and legal research and evidence. So thank you, Justice. Now my question to Jaco would be, yeah, and thereafter I'll go to presenters Pranjal and Professor. So what are the key ethical So my questions to Jaco is that what are the key considerations and principles that we need to follow, like when we use the artificial intelligence in the justice system, because we have UNESCO has prepared some guidelines. So what are the three, if you can mention like 3 or like 5 key considerations and principles that needs to be employed, like when we are providing or developing any deployment of use of artificial intelligence in the justice sector. So what do you think personally and in an official through principles as well? So what are the 3 or 5 consideration principles that need to be undertaken?
Yes, thank you so much. I think guided by UNESCO's AI and ethics recommendation, I would like to quickly mention 6 of them. The first one is human oversight and accountability. I think a lot has been said about the importance of human oversight, where AI remains subordinate to human judgment. I think it was said by the previous speakers. The second one is transparency and explainability. So the AI systems that we use in the justice system must be auditable and understandable. Defendants should be able to know and challenge how AI-informed recommendations are made, if it is the case. The third principle is fairness and bias mitigation. As the previous speakers also said, algorithmic biases exists, and this needs to be addressed and taken into account, I think, also when it is used. And the next one is on data governance and privacy, where we have to look at data sovereignty, cross-border cooperation, and digital self-determination. These are elements to be taken into account. The next principle is inclusivity and accessibility. So the AI systems should expand and not restrict access to justice. This is especially important when we look at geographical and digital divides. And the last element that is important is contextual adaptation. And this is exactly also why UNESCO works with different countries in order to adapt our guidelines to tailor-make the use of AI also to national realities. And I think if these principles are operationalized, one could see to trustworthy use of AI in the justice system. Thanks.
Thank you, Jaco. Thank you for highlighting some of the key considerations, principles, and values that UNESCO has been advocating for, and what are the considerations that the justice systems should adopt. Now, my question is to Professor Durga Vani. So just in short, like what are the 3 considerations and key values that as a legal academician you think that it needs the justice systems need to incorporate? Like what are the 3 considerations or values or principles that we need to be cautioned about before using the artificial intelligence?
Okay, so again, going back to our beloved constitution, we have to see that some of the fundamental rights and human rights cannot be disregarded while AI is being used, like privacy, like maintaining dignity of individuals, personal liberty. So I'm just calling back to, there was in earlier in the Indian Information and Technology Act 66A, which gave certain freedoms to the netizens
Okay.
on social media, but that was turned down in a Shreya Singhal's case. Court said that a restriction on freedoms on the virtual space can only be that which can be exercised validly as given by the constitution. So what I feel is that AI should also be governed by these principles. The AI, while you exercise, it should not be like an unruly horse. While the AI is being introduced and deployed, it should respect other person's dignity. It should not amount to humiliating somebody, especially with a diverse countries where, like India, where you have regional diversity, language diversity, caste. This is quite relevant even in this
Nepal.
Nepal, because it cannot be used as a tool where you are condemning a particular caste. So no discrimination on the basis of religion, race, caste. All that must be seen, especially our Article 15, which says of there cannot be discrimination on the basis of gender, sex, religion, place of birth, caste, and so on. So we have to be very careful that any of these technology, especially generative AI, which does have a tendency to gather random information and produce, does not tend to create disharmony and disrespect anyone on the basis of caste, religion, sex, and all that. I do remember one example of Facebook once, that was of generative AI, because the generative AI learned certain abuses because people on that, because it's machine learning. So machine learning also was using that because it heard many people using the F word. So it started using the F word. They had to remove that because it does not have mind. It only learns. It cannot process whether it is a rightful word or wrongful word. So there has to be these restriction, and everybody's life, liberty, personal liberty, their rights, their dignity must be protected, and so that there is no disharmony. So AI cannot be used indiscriminately to create disharmony in society.
Thank you, Professor, for highlighting the key concerns like sort of privacy and with respect to fundamental rights. Now my questions to is to Pranjal. So there has been like questions of regarding algorithmic justice, biasness, and accountability as well from the developer side as well. So the question is that how can developer be held accountable? So if you are since you are on a you have been an entrepreneur, a developer, so how can the balance be created, like how, like algorithm, it can create biasnesses, and regarding the ownership of the system as well, AI system or anything, because there is a issue, questions of transparency, a sort of black box also. So my question is to Pranjal is that what are the key factors that the justice system needs to be aware while dealing with the developer side? So what are the considerations, like from your side, if you have to say that, what are the three considerations that the justice systems or the justice institutions, they need to be aware of while to hold the developers accountable?
Okay, thank you very much for the question, Amitji. First of all, I'd like to express that I'm quite happy, given that all the stakeholders, we all have a common idea of what the importance of ethics and other concerns as well. But moving on to the question, accountability. In my opinion, shared accountability model is the way to go. Take, for example, a chainsaw, a bit of a gruesome example, but regardless. There is a shared accountability model. The manufacturer should provide details of operation, the limitation, the dangers, the warning signs to keep away from children, and so on and so forth. And depending on that, the manufacturer or the developer will have some limited liability as well. So it is their duty to make sure they use industry standard processes and they rightly guide the end users on how it should be used. But then ultimately, the users of the chainsaw, they can use it to cut down trees, but they can also use it to harm other people as well. So the end users should also be held accountable for the intention and action. I think it's something that still needs to be thought and debated about quite a bit. Because of one small phenomena, even if large companies such as ChatGPT or Google's Gemini, in their websites, if they write in big bold letters that everything generated by our AI is wrong, do not trust it. It's just fun and games, and it's just a random simulated generation of words. People will still trust it either way. So the accountability model is quite complex, I'd say. But however, we should work towards a shared accountability model where the developers are also held accountable based on what processes they use for development and how the end users use it. And there's also one I'd like to touch a bit on ethical concerns. The ethical concerns mainly lies with data in two ways, primarily. The first one is data stored by third parties is a concern. We need to make sure that SOC 2 and other standards are met. And secondly, the removal of personally identifiable information before we feeding data to AI systems. Those are the two primarily ethical concerns that regarding the foundational part of AI, which is data. And I think, yeah, that's most of my answer. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Pranjal, for bringing this new terminology, new idea of shared accountability. I think this is the beginning that we can have a collective ownership of the system or the modules, and so this can be one of the alternative for holding accountability. Now we'll since we have only 8 minutes left, so now we'll address the question and answer as well. So most of the questions has been regarding the digital divide, so how we can from digital device to address to make towards move towards digital inclusion. So I want to seek idea from Jaco, like since you have been you know the field situations. Even in Nepal we have we have the energy, electricity also. There has not been a continuous flow of like electricity. There is a load setting and everything, and internet, it's still. So the question is that we can't leave the AI like there is a threat of digital divide, but still we need to adopt the artificial intelligence, AI, or any sort of digital technology. So what's your suggestion, like how we can transfer from digital divide to digital inclusion? It's the how.
Thank you very much for that. I think first of all, the point that is important is to understand the context in which it will be used. And this is why the audits and other methodologies are necessary to understand the context. But let me provide maybe four elements. First one is the empowerment of the judiciary. I think it's important that we keep on working with the industry, building their capacity, providing them with infrastructure to use these tools, and to make sure that it can actually be used in an appropriate way and in an ethical way. The second one is the strengthening of data governance. I think Pranjal also mentioned the importance of some of the ethical considerations about data governance. That is necessary, and we have to make sure that sensitive judiciary data can securely and ethically be stored, and that it can then be retrieved and used in innovative way without impinging on the privacy or the fairness of those involved. The third one is building also public understanding, and I think it also comes to Pranjal's point that there's a shared responsibility where also the users need to know. We call it media information literacy skills, to make sure that they know what questions needs to be asked, what their rights are when it comes to the use of AI and generative AI in our judiciary system. So I think also this bottom-up approach is important. And I think lastly, I want to mention the importance of also looking specifically at gender equality and to make sure that when technology such as AI is used, it takes also into account some of the risks of gender-based violence against women, and the biasness that may come from its usage. So I hope those 4 elements provide, plus the audit that I mentioned in the beginning, provide some answers to the question. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Jaco, for providing the insights on how we can lead and move towards the digital inclusion. So now we'll go to question and answers. And I have also, now I would request Edmond to read out the questions, like if there are any. I have also been saying in the main chat as well.
Yeah, so there are 4 questions received. I guess I'll read it quickly, all 4,
Sure.
Just looking at the time. First one from Sarika Bhatta. Question to the panel is, how do you define the balance between automation and human oversight in the justice system, especially in contexts where technology access and digital literacy remain unequal? Second question from Tamina, who's a APrIGF fellow from Bangladesh. How can developing countries balance the adoption of digital justice systems with the need to protect citizens' rights in low connectivity areas? Third question from Ashutosh Maharaj. What steps can small island states take to ensure AI in justice systems supports inclusion, not inequality? Fourth question from Jenny Fernando. If AI errors lead to unfair outcomes, what kind of accountability mechanisms should be in place? And how can smaller developing countries practically implement those without slowing innovation? Amit, if you're speaking, you're muted.
Okay. So just in 30 seconds only, I would request Justice Nahakul Subedi to share his insight from his justice perspective as well, like how we can address the concerns of digital divide. And there has been questions like how we can promote digital justice system in low connectivity area, and how we can what sort of support mechanisms should be there for digital inclusion if we are employing artificial intelligence.
Yes, Amit.
Justice.
Yes.
Yeah.
What I would like to respond this query is that of AI system is not just about the launching of the system by the judiciary. There should be some sort of digital ecosystem, so that every stakeholder, it is a multi-stakeholder functioning. Every stakeholder should be prepared and should be ready to apply this new system. Just for example, government should launch the digital literacy, and there should be provided some basic infrastructure like connectivity and electricity supply like this. And awareness should be raised up, so that digital divide should be balanced to some extent, and this objective can be achieved.
Thank you. Since we are running out of time, so to Professor in 30 seconds. So what's your insight on how we can move towards digital inclusion?
Should I?
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Amit. So what I feel like, the government in power should create a very good budgetary requirement, for this thing, for extending the digital facility in remote area. So I think the governments should have that as a like food, shelter, and clothing, giving this kind of an access, technological access. So e-governance, through e-governance initiatives of the government, where the budgetary provision for distributing in remote areas must be a paramount this thing. So that should be, I think, a responsibility of the political parties and the government in power to create that, and that accountability should come. And with judiciary being very, very insistent on certain things, certain peripheral things going on, e-courts and establishing e-courts, I think both of these things come hand in hand. One point which I felt, which over here when we are talking about ethics, though that question was not directly asked, but I'm saying is that nowhere the national security, I mean, the sovereignty and integrity of any country should be compromised, and that should be also one of the concerns when you're using AI. And because every sovereign state has right to maintain its dignity, and therefore that should not be also an unethical use in trying to this. These are the 2 points which I will just want to.
To Pranjal, like, what's your idea, like, from as an innovator? So, what we can further innovate, like?
Okay, so regarding the questions that we received earlier, most of them are regarding digital divide and inclusion. So I'll just quickly go over that. First of all, a bit of an abstract philosophical point. First, we need to design an inclusive system, and then we need to automate that inclusive system. Else, if we do it the other way around, we'll just be automating exclusion, and that's a disaster. So what does this mean? So captioning, text-to-speech, local and regional language translations, access to information about law and justice should be done first, and then making automated systems should be done second. And regarding the accountability question, I stand by my same answer as earlier. There should be a shared accountability model where the manufacturers of AI or the developers, the users of AI, and everyone should be accountable for everything. And the question specifically raises, if AI errors lead to unfair outcomes, then what kind of accountability mechanisms should be in place? I think throughout the discussion, all of the speakers have mentioned that AI should be used as a tool, and the final decision-making hands should be on the human. So I hope those kind of errors will not happen at all if we follow this kind of idea about the human or the justice who will have the final rights to sign it off. Thank you very much.
Thank you. In 5 to 10 seconds, Jaco, if you have any final thoughts.
I think ethics very important when we make use of new technologies, and the necessary skills that accompany, I think, its use. And then lastly, just want to acknowledge also accessibility and affordability and usability that has been mentioned in the chat. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. In the chat also, there's like Subhasini and Nirus, they have create a great insight, like the design from inclusion should be right from the design of the program, and they have also highlighted that it's all related. We need to think from a holistic perspective, like accessibility, affordability, and usability. So these are the 3 factors that during the designing of the system that needs to be undertaken. And sorry for for my poor time management skills, and so we are running out of we have already been out of time. And so I guess for me personally, this has been an insightful session where we have learned knew that we need to think quite from an ecosystem perspective also. It's not just the justice system, also there should be a budgetary support, also there should be an external expertise, so that sort of like of UNESCO, who can provide in providing and developing the guidelines. And we need to also think from the said accountability perspective. And as Pranjal and Durga in their presentation have highlighted, there should be a Lakshman Rekha in what we in Hindu scriptures we call it. So there should be a limitations. And so what are the areas what are the potential areas that AI can, and what are the limitations that we need to be think about. And thank you, Justice Nahakul Sriman, for your honorable presence, since he has a personal time as well. Thank you. And also thank you to Jaco and to Professor Durgamani Patel from coming right from joining from India, and Pranjal Timsina for their insightful insight, and also providing a developer perspective, which is very valuable to us. And thank you all the participants who have shown an active engagement. And sorry if I have made any mistakes in pronunciation or any sort of time management skills. Thank you, all of you.
Thank you, Amit, for
Thanks.
regulating all of us and for being a panelist.
Yeah, Amit,